Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About Adoption and Foster Care podcast. And I'm your host, Kevin B., better known as Skeeter. Today we have a co-host, Quinn. He's out there in Detroit. And before we get to him, we're going to give a shout out to the G podcast out there in the ATL. They gave me my little first break out there. They gave me a little time to tell my story about adoption. The individual that runs that podcast happens to be adoptee too. The G podcast talks about everything, not just about adoption. They go all over the place. They talk about the coronavirus. They talk about what's going on in urban America, what's going on in the community, and all that good stuff. So check them out. All you got to do is go to my webpage, www.livingmyshadows.org. You'll see podcasts and you'll see the G podcast. And go ahead and check them out. Tell them I sent you. All right. What's going on there, Detroit?
Not much. We just got through kind of a storm. And I guess now the sun's coming out. So I figured do this whole thing outside.
Hey, that's good. It's different. You be my first outside co-host.
Oh, yeah. Change it up a little bit.
Change the game. That's how we do. But anyway, what I usually do is just give you the floor, tell your story, and we have a little dialogue, and we go from there. So the name of this episode is episode number 11, Tip of the Iceberg, with Quinn out of Detroit. Go ahead and do your thing. Tell your story.
All right. The first memory I've ever had was being in the kitchen with the smell of an old radiator, bacon grease, and someone I didn't know basically spanking me because I peed in my diaper. Later as an adult, I look back and I guess that was a social worker. But it's sad. That was my very first memory. And my very first memory was abuse. And she was about around 30 years old, thinking back now. And that was my very first memory of life. And then my second memory is basically flash forward to sitting in a living room with a gentleman who I don't know who that was, sitting with a toy. One of those old school baby toys where you put the different colored balls through and everything.
Right.
And
old school.
Yeah, and they roll through, and then I thought that was pretty cool, but I was just sitting there basically. And then my next memory was basically eating soup in the kitchen. It's weird because my consciousness was happening in stages. Wow. So it's I was here, then I was here, and then I was here. So they were all foster homes. I was taken away from my biological mother at birth.
How many foster homes did you go through?
I was told 4 or 5, but I only remember 2. And that's between the age. Let me take it back. I was born in Henry Ford Hospital, 1983, and I was finally adopted by my current family, 1985, around the age of 2. So this was all before the age of 2. I bounced around 4 foster homes.
Wow. Yeah. I bounced around 2 before the age of 1.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes,
bouncing
sir.
around, that affects the psyche, bouncing around,
yes,
even
sir.
at that young age.
Yes, sir. And then one of the foster homes, apparently, there was something called a kid mill, or that's what they called it. Basically, they have a whole bunch of orphans and foster kids in one crib, all malnourished and all, and I was one of those kids. And I was malnourished, and basically, if any abuse happened, I don't really remember, maybe possibly blacking it out. But when I got to my current foster family, I was so malnourished I couldn't even lift my arms. I had seizures. I had I was taking this really powerful drug called Depakote for seizures as a kid. That stuff's powerful even for an adult.
Yeah, it is.
And I would just have unknown seizures. It says on the paper I had unknown seizures. So I was adopted to my current family, and they were fostering me. They had fostered other children as well, of different colors. And mainly, I just, they decided that they wanted to adopt me. But going through that process, the state had taken me away from that foster home. I don't know why. They say it's because of color, but I don't know what the real reason. So my adoptive parents sued the state and brought me back into their foster home so they could finalize the adoption.
Wow.
If you wanna kind of see what my story was like, look up a movie called Losing Isaiah. It's not the exact same story, but it's pretty similar. I'll give you an idea. So my adoptive family, they win the court case, and I get put in national papers and everything, and we were invited to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show around 1985, and I still have that episode. You can check it online.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you telling us that in our therapy group I call on Sundays.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And watching it now as an adult is really rough, especially for adoptees like me and you, because we know what it's like to be an adoptee. But a lot of the episode was basically like the good side of adoption. You know, painting adoption as a great picture.
Right.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
And there were some social workers on there and everything. I'll just leave it to the people to see it. So I get adopted into my adoptive family. It's Irish family, big Irish family. There was 2 other siblings, older, who were adopted and who are white, and they had 3 natural siblings. So I was the only black child of the whole family.
How was that dynamic? That had to be, as you got older, that had to be.
Oh yeah. I've always felt like the black sheep, like I never belonged. And even among the 2 siblings who were adopted, they are now, one that I rent a room with now, they're still in the fog basically as adults.
Wow.
And yeah, it's rough. And so basically you grow up, you want to have a conversation about adoption with people that you think, oh, they'll probably understand because they're adoptees as well.
Right.
But you can't say anything about the adoptive parents because, adoptive parents can do no wrong. So basically I had no one really to talk to growing up.
So you had to keep a lot of things close to the heart.
Yes.
Yeah. And even if you did tell somebody, they wouldn't understand.
Exactly. And then they'll get offended that I'm talking about such saints like that.
Yeah.
Because they did fight for me to bring me back into the home. And they were on Oprah Winfrey and everything. But that's like, I guess that's the beginning of the story. When you're a human being, you have to grow up and you have to establish real relationships.
Right.
The whole, what do you call it? The whole high of the situation, or what's the word I'm looking for? The novelty of the situation became real life. So like, okay, now we have this black adoptee who's growing up, and generally I'm going to say, they're not going to admit it, but racist. And I'm not the only adoptee that feels like their adoptive parents have racist tendencies, but they really do.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see the individual that said at I guess it was at the convention that she adopted a African American, and she said that basically that her son should be pointed out or racial profile because he's destined to get in trouble, and she adopted him. You know what, I don't really like to get into politics and all that other stuff, but I happened to see a text message, not text, but an alert from the news, and I saw that headline because it said adoption, and so anything adopted, I always go look at it, and I couldn't believe she said that.
Yes, sir. I think it's sickening. Wow. And basically, she said that, and that's how like a lot of adoptive parents think. I think there's no really not really a screening process that should be there for adoptive parents. I think there should be a really stringent screening process.
Should be a better one, at least. Definitely a better one.
At least psychologically, because
right.
She did say that, and oh my God!
So he's already behind the power curve as far as his mental psyche.
Oh my God!
And now all of a sudden you throw that on top of him.
Oh God!
How do you even stay in the fog for a long time with that?
Oh, that's so damaging because you look for that person, that mother.
Right.
That's the icon. That's someone to help you walk through life.
Right.
And if they're already saying that, well, if you're
well, you already lost your mother. Now you have a second chance, a second mother that does that to put you, and then with all the stuff that's going on in society, they already view you as a black man. Now you got the triple threat going.
Exactly.
I mean,
Who do you go to? I mean, you have to internalize it. Like I know you understand. We as adoptees, we internalize heavy.
Oh, a lot.
Right. Because if we were to release everything, oh my gosh.
And there's been times, I know personally for myself, I have released, putting a hole in the wall.
Oh yeah.
Hurting my hand or hurting my foot or doing something that I shouldn't have did physically to myself, or even mentally, like, to the point where, I'm stressing, I'm getting ulcers and stuff like that. And then it helped, mentally, it just, it's a bummer,
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I got ulcers. I got panic attacks. I'm sure you probably maybe had a few, or at least anxiety attacks where you feel like your chest tightening and like,
I never told nobody that. I never shared that with nobody. Because the first thing, the one time that I said anything about some of the things I was going through or internalizing, first thing I get was, you should be thankful. Then after that, I just shunned. I said, I'll never again will tell anybody how I deeply feel.
In fact, I got a story about that. There's this one movie that I can't stand. What's that one football movie where she adopts this kid and he plays? Oh God. Yeah. My adopted sister wanted me to see that, and she wanted my honest opinion, and I told her I hated it. And basically, that's when she hit me with the whole, "You're not grateful." And she asked me for my honest opinion about the movie. I didn't like it because I'm a real adoptee and we go through real experiences. I think she wanted me to say, "Oh my gosh, this was a miracle. I love everything. I am so great. Give me a hug. You give me a hug." Yeah. Oh, what do they want?
Yeah, I know. It's just and I hate to generalize everything, because you do have some good situations out there.
Oh sure, yeah.
Like anything else, but I think what they do, they focus on the good all the time, and don't talk about the negatives part of adoption and foster care.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I'm sure there are really good situations. I can only just speak from where I'm coming from.
Our experiences, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
and my experiences for myself has been up and down. The first part was really rough. The second part was okay at times. But it's just something that that was dealt to us, and every day from my 60 years on life, I had to deal with something internally inside of me, knowing that I was different.
Yes, sir.
And then there's nothing you can do about it, because it's not going to change. Even when you meet your birth parents and stuff. For my situation, I met my birth parents and things, but you're catching up, because you don't, it's just. So.
I can only imagine. I know you mentioned you met your birth parents. And I got a lot of respect for you. Seriously.
I have a lot of respect for you too, because I know through our little therapy class that we or session that we do on every Sunday, and when you do open up, I'm like, wow, especially the passing of your adopted brother, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I know even then you probably still internalize some things. Because I know in death, with some of the people that have passed away on both the adopted and the natural side, I still couldn't let it go. It feels like something was holding me to let go. Like I can't grieve, and it's a I don't know. It's just. So how did you get into playing the piano? That's something you self-taught?
Yeah, self-taught basically.
Get out of here!
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you, the adoptees, they're resilient, boy. They're resilient.
Well, my family, they had this old piano, and my older adopted brother took lessons. Actually, the one that passed away, the one that I was most closest to, he's the one that started playing piano. I listened to him while I was taking bubble baths as a kid, and then I started playing by ear. And so we would go to church, and I would basically like listen to all the church hymns and memorize them, and then play them all from memory. So I self-taught.
Wow. Hey, y'all out there on Instagram, YouTube, you need to check out Corey Quinn's IG. He be having that piano smoking, literally smoking. Smoking.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hey,
and it really helped me, because like when I feel like we adoptees, we have things we want to get off our chest and no one's listening, I went right to the keyboard. I went right to the piano. I composed. I banged on the piano. That's how I got my anger out. And I say a lot, if it wasn't for the piano, I'd either be dead or in jail, basically.
And see, that's why I was telling one of my episodes, I was telling that even though we have all these issues and stuff, you have to find a vehicle that you can hold on to, that you can find solitude in. And for me, it was the martial arts in the military. And you was the piano, because you get lost in that, and that's how you can find, like I said, like a little piece for that little moment, whatever you play. If you're playing the piano or you're doing martial arts or
Mhm.
whatever, it takes you away from what you internalizing. And I recommend anybody to find something. It could be you know, weave, basket weaving or something.
Yes.
Your mind off, because it would really bring it down. Really bring it down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the thing is, like you, exactly what you said, you lose yourself in it, and whatever you're feeling, it's a temporary reprieve, so you
Right.
can kind of heal yourself a little bit. So yeah, it totally. I write songs, and I also
Mm-hmm.
try and write songs that are adoptee centered,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel that if I can use whatever platform I could use, just like you're
Mm-hmm.
doing now with your podcast, to
Mm-hmm.
help us adoptees get our voice out there, I think it's all
Right.
the better. That's what
Yes.
we need.
I'm trying. I'm trying. So I know you said something about you knew a little bit of your natural family.
Mm,
How did
okay.
that? What's the dynamics with that? With you, your personal story.
Well, okay. Well, just this is all basically on paper that
Mm-hmm.
I've read from my adoptive father, and I mean my biological father, and I'm thinking about looking for him, was a sergeant major in the Air Force.
Okay.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure there's some type of way to look
Oh yeah.
through.
Oh yeah. Records. You get records.
I think, yeah, I think so.
Records.
And I know my biological mother was born in Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and I was taken away from birth, and the reasoning was they were unfit says they are unfit to take care of me, and
Mm-hmm.
I had 8 siblings, and I think we were all taken away, including my
Mm-hmm.
youngest biological brother, who I met. And so, yeah.
And how did that relationship?
Here's the tricky thing: I was adopted into a white family. He was adopted into a black family, and my adopted mother knew about him, but just didn't tell me for 20 years.
Why
And
people
I
keep
was,
secrets?
oh God, and that just destroyed me. But I ended up finding him, and it was kind of funny. I wanted to have a brotherly relationship. He was cold.
Oh
I
wow.
I think the thing is his adopted mother got in his head, and basically it's not that she told him not to like me, but I think she was afraid that somehow I would take him away. I don't know how human beings think. It's weird. I don't. That's the only reason I could think of. He was just cold, and he's on my Instagram page, but we never really established a real relationship like I had liked.
Wow.
Because I just felt like I don't know, he was angry at me for something and I never did anything to the guy. So that
Wow.
just goes to show you that sometimes reunions can be a little tricky.
Yes, it's a
But
gamble.
but then I met my older biological brother and sister, and they love me. I still talk to my sister till this day.
Oh, that's good.
Um,
That's good.
but they were adopted into a different family.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's nature versus nurture. So I met a
Wow.
lot of them, and yeah, that yes sir.
Wow. That's something else. That's something
Oh yeah,
else. That
oh yeah. My younger biological brother, I helped him meet the rest of our bio siblings, and you know, even till today, it's just simply like if you hang around someone that kind of giving you the side eye, and there's just I don't know if he's jealous of me for something, but that's kind of painful. But yeah. But hopefully in the future, maybe something else happens. You just got to give it a lot of some time.
yes.
So.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes time does make things heal, or
Mm-hmm.
I kind of when I was looking for my folks at one time, I was just gonna say, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's like when you don't look for it, it comes. But then when it comes, it doesn't come the way you think it's gonna come.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah.
people has been rejected. I mean, I wasn't rejected, but still, I have other emotions that I have to
Yeah.
deal with now,
Sure.
because now I'm splitting time with both sides of my natural family and my adopted family. So you split
Mm-hmm.
time and things, like it's a whole different ball game. And then some people, their natural family don't want nothing to do with them at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it's some serious levels that you have to think about.
Well, I wanted to name this. I wanted to name this tip of the iceberg because I feel like I know nothing
Mm-hmm.
about my biological family besides what I told you.
Right.
And what basically my adopted family knows nothing about my biological family, and it seems like there's a bit of a disservice to the adoptee, me,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like if you adopt a child, you should at least research everything about, the
Right.
child's past.
You should. You
Right?
should. You should. But it's not like that. It's like,
No.
most cases, the adoptee has to go out when they're 19 or 20 on their own,
Yeah.
try to find out. It's like what they try to do, in my view, is try to replace your beginnings with their beginnings. And then it's like whatever, your birth didn't mean anything.
Exactly.
With this family, but it shouldn't be that way. If you have access to a person's birth certificate, where they come from, all that, they should know that stuff, because they're going to find out sooner or later.
A blank slate is so damaging to someone, because you're supposed to have grandparents, great grandparents, a legacy, even if you don't believe in all that, just for your medical, just so you know.
Medical alone, right? You're right.
Exactly. Right. And when you start with a blank slate, even if you, let's say, meet the love of your life, and you have kids and stuff, they're going to ask you.
Okay, and you can't even answer them.
Exactly. You got to. It's not necessarily lying, but it's like, who are we, Dad? And it's like, I don't even know.
Especially if you don't look like your people that you told them that you're your parents,
Exactly.
And
You're right. And a lot of times, I think a lot of these can relate to this. A lot of times I got, are you with them? Like if we walk into a restaurant or something, are you the same Bill? I got that so much that it became one of my pet peeves.
And that got to be a pet. I'll give it a say, that has to be a pet peeve.
Oh, yes. And the funny thing is, I went to an all-white school, basically, and if any other black men were to walk on the school grounds, they'd automatically think that was my brother, basically. It's like
that's what people are so visual.
Exactly.
So visual.
And I got a quick funny story. I went to a basketball camp. I was the only black guy in the basketball camp, and in the Heights, and the coach knew someone from my school, and he was like, he saw me walk up. He's like, I know your coach at your school. Basically thinking like I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be good, a basketball player, right? And I'm garbage. I'll tell you, I'm a garbage. I just went to the camp for fun, and so it was my turn to start taking shots. And the coach is like staring at me, talking to his assistant coach, like, "Oh, watch this kid's good." And here's me, brick airball. And that's the only time I think like I've let racism down, because
you let racism down. That's a good one.
I love telling that story. And this was the coach's smile. It was like this.
That is funny.
Yeah, it was one of the few times I could just laugh about that situation. But
that is funny.
Yeah.
That is funny. But yeah, that's what people do. They
perceive.
They assume.
Yes, sir.
You know what they say when you assume, right?
Yep, they make an ass out of you and me.
Tip of the iceberg. Yeah. So your life is you just on that tip.
Exactly.
Trying to find out what's up.
And I think there's so much beneath to my story, and that I just can't access or don't know about now. I think the next step is me searching for my biological parents and possibly getting my original birth certificate. I got to research.
Have you done DNA yet?
Yes, but it was weird. I did Ancestry.com, and they said that they gave me third and fourth possible cousins, and they gave me a region where I'm possibly from. I got Ghana, basically around Ivory Coast, but they just draw a big circle around the region of West Africa, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting, but I kind of need a little bit more information. I'd like a little bit more.
What I did, I hooked up with a third or fourth cousin, and I just started asking them questions about their trees, and just about boom. And that's how I learned. And I took 23andMe. Then I took African DNA, which kind of pointed me to a certain part of Africa. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Or you can hire your we call them people that actually do that stuff.
A detective? Is that
no? They specialize in finding developing your family tree.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they help you with you can get them on Ancestry. They cost a little penny though, but I did one, and to help with my on my mother's side, and I had her for, about 6 or 7 months. She started a tree and things like that. And, they basically do all the work for you. They go through Ancestry DNA has like millions and millions of records. So if you have a last name, your birth name and all that stuff, they can kind of help you a little bit. There's no promises, but they can help you know more than what you know now.
Okay.
Yeah. So for a long time before I met my folks, I just had 4th and 5th cousins that I knew.
Right. Oh man.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and it said that I had this 4th cousin who was like, he was a complete white guy. It was like 100% Caucasian. But he had the gap. He had the gap though. So I'm like, oh yeah. He had the forehead. He had the forehead too.
You're gonna get that. You're gonna get that. I had 3rd cousins, closest 3rd and 2nd cousins that, because of slavery and all that stuff. Yeah. And some have been really receptive. I have a website, a webpage, a family webpage on the natural side of the family, my father's side. And have a few people that don't like that are relatives. We all get along. We talk, boom. And
awesome.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Right now, I'm searching for the right therapist. I think that possibly we should talk about a little bit about therapy because I know I'm not the only adoptee struggling with this. It's I'd like to mention that a lot of these adoptee therapists that we look for are adoption therapists. They label themselves adoption therapists, but when you get there, you're really kind of teaching them about the whole adoptee thing. I think it's tough for us adoptees to find therapists because really, it's got to be an adoptee. I think
there has to be.
What do you think of?
Experience. The experience. It's like, you want to play football, right? And then all of a sudden you got somebody that never played the game, don't understand schemes or nothing like that. They can't teach you anything. And so
exactly.
I know how to play tennis. No, I want to play football.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I think the problem is a lot of them, they just label themselves adoption therapists because some of them think, well, we're kind of trained for parents who want to adopt. But
let's generalize it.
Yeah.
Generalize it.
Yeah.
And they falls under this one umbrella of being a therapist, and boom.
Exactly.
It should be someone that has that particular experience. It's like, you're a foot doctor, but you never worked on foot before because you may be a brain surgeon or something like that. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And just the thing is, the reason I bring that up is because that's part of my next step too, is to find my biological parents, something else I said, and to get therapy because I think adoptees, we need a lot of therapy because of all the trauma and the relinquishment. Yes, sir. It never ends. I thought when I got older, things would change a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It never ends.
Yes,
thank God I have a wife that understands. I learned to cry too.
Well, actually, that's amazing because a lot of us adoptees we can't.
Yeah, it took a long time. It took a long time.
Oh yeah, and it's like you try and you almost kind of like force it out.
You force it out, right?
It's like a tear welling. It's like almost.
But when I learned how to do that, and it helped me deal with my feelings. And the reason why I was able to do it was simply because I found my natural family and stuff. But what actually made me cry is because I thought I would feel this relief.
Oh yeah.
And being free and all, and it actually wasn't. It actually made me bound more because I don't miss someone. It's like being in a marathon and you starting at the halfway mark, the 13-mile mark, and people are 13 miles ahead of you, and you're constantly trying to catch up.
Oh yeah.
And sometimes it can be nerve-wracking.
I can with meeting my younger brother, it was the same thing. I thought everything was going to be great. I finally had met someone of my blood. Yeah. I can start this awesome brotherly relationship that I've been, seeking for so much. And I get to feel what everybody else feels.
Right.
Being belonging, being able to belong.
Yeah,
and when you get there, but I think I might have felt like overwhelmed him a little bit because when I met him, I was basically just like arms open and like brother, and But could you really blame me? I mean, it's 20 years.
Yeah, 20-some years.
Right.
It might come around. You might come around. Something like he's going to need you.
Yeah.
Because you have that bond.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That blood bond. Yep. That just doesn't go away.
it doesn't go away. So I'm sure, he probably thinks about you. Maybe he doesn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing is, yeah, he's in the same path as I am, and he's just got to learn how to deal with his emotions. It's like just like we do.
Yeah.
And
That's true.
I want to talk about one more thing. Just there was a post on Instagram, and it said, just because you adopt a child of color doesn't mean you're anti-racism, and I thought that was very interesting.
I think I saw that.
Yeah.
I think I saw that.
Who do you know? Was that you who posted it, or do you know?
Oh, no, I didn't post it. No, I didn't post it. But I did see it.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And I think I said I saw it on my feed on my podcast feed.
Yeah.
IG, and I think I saw it. Yeah. And I thought it was kind of like
that hit home.
Yeah, like wow.
That hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just that hit home because I think about how can you basically adopt someone and just not have 100% love for people like them. It escapes my mind. Like, how do you adopt a child of a people of a certain culture and not just be in love with that culture?
I think people do a whole lot of things. Money is another thing,
money,
tax write-offs, all kinds of
I think
stuff.
so too. And it's funny you mentioned that because I was really messed up as a kid. And someone mentioned that, like, a lot of times the more messed up the child, the more like support and different like things you can get from the.
I don't know how. They get, like, for medical stuff like that. They get extra. Yeah.
And I was really messed up. And here's the thing. For me, it's weird. I love my adopted family. Is the only family I know, but that's what makes it more painstaking. A lot of times I have to separate myself from them and just do my own thing and kind of isolate myself because for so much time I've been trying to prove myself to them, trying to gain their love, and a lot of times I've been feeling like gaslit and that whole thing. So it's just I think this might be like
I hear you and I feel you. You have to separate. You have to get a hold of you first.
Yeah, exactly.
But I usually what I did that actually helped me is I actually got into really involved in searching who I was, like you're about to do.
Yeah.
And and it's frustrating, but then I started talking. Some people will talk to you, and I just started researching different documents and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my last name that I was born with, I started researching what that name meant.
Okay.
And it's stuff
you mentioned that.
Stuff like that. And when I did African DNA, that was really cool because I started talking to people over there in Sierra Leone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the tribe the Mindi tribe, and things like that. So that actually kind of like made me that thing that you was missing of like not knowing who you were. It made me feel like, wow, I know who I am now. That's a bad feeling when you don't know who you are or where you come from.
Wait, so they got you down to a tribe? Was that 23andMe?
No, that was African DNA. They got me I got a certificate and everything.
Well, they sound thorough. I might try them.
Yeah, and what happens is I joined the group. Once I found out where I was from, it's a Mindi or a Saint Leon group, West African group, and we just talk. Matter of fact, people are going over there getting dual citizenship. They're going over there and they have parades for you when you come over there.
Man.
One day, hopefully, that's a long flight though. But one day, maybe I might go over there.
I think you should.
I looked at what they call it, Amistad. I don't really like to look at them pictures.
Yeah.
But somebody told me to look at the picture, and that was the Mindi people that was on that.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. And so it gave me a whole different outlook of who I was. And it was a good feeling.
You said Sierra Leone, that's West Africa. Where is that?
Freetown.
Where's that by? I should know this. It's by Ivory Coast or
right around that area, right on the coast.
Yeah, so I think we're in the that's
more than likely
too.
More than likely.
Yeah.
More than likely. And Yeah, there was all kinds of stories about the slave trade and all that other
Yeah,
stuff, and how a lot of slaves left that Freetown, that area right there,
yeah.
to go to all the West Indies and things like that. That's where my grandfather was born in Anguilla. So I found all this out, and I'm like, wow, that was deep. And I didn't know nothing up until the age 56.
So your people were taken to the West Indies.
Yep.
How did they arrive to America? Do you know how
Well,
they?
my grandfather, he wasn't a slave. He was born in
Okay.
1887. Well, anyway, when he was 20 years old, he left Anguilla and went to St. Kitts, and then
Okay.
caught a boat from St. Kitts, and then from there he went to New York City, and that's where he met my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
And then they got married and they moved down to New Jersey, and that's when they had my mother and my aunt. He had two kids, two girls, and then my mother had four, me, Johnny, Anna, and Kenny. And I met Johnny and Anna for Kenny. He passed away before I could met him. He was everybody said he was my twin. He was 2 years 2 years older than me. So, but yeah, but I get along with my sister and my brothers, on my mother's side and on my father's side. So, it's a blessing. But it's like, I wish I can call them every day, but I have to restrain myself. Like you said, you kind of like want to,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You just want to, because you think it's this movie scene where you just go running in the field and
Yeah, right.
hug. It's not like that. Meanwhile, your biological sibling is like,
yeah. Right, you're right.
because we just need that validation.
That's right. The big V, validation. Matter of fact, I'm
It's
gonna
so
do
an
episode called validation.
Oh, you really should.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
like
Validation. That's what
that
it is.
I think that validation is so important that we will even neglect ourselves for it.
Yeah.
That's what and we just to get that validation. And I had to come to the real aspect that I'm never going to get the validation that I think that I want from my adoptive family.
Yeah.
So I had to start validating myself.
True.
And I feel a lot better. I wore my African
there you go. Whatever little things you can do to make yourself feel better, you got to do it. And nobody might not understand that. Hey, this is me, because I'm gonna be on this earth for a while, so I have to make me happy. If I can't make myself happy first, there's no way in the world I can make anybody else happy.
It took me a long time to understand that. Long time to understand that. And I was getting, like you mentioned, you get ulcers, you get anxiety attacks. Sometimes you can't sleep. I couldn't sleep, basically, all because I just felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like, I'm never going to be a part of a family. And then I told myself, I'm never going to have a family ever. I'm never going to belong anywhere. And then you get depressed. You deal with the whole depression.
I feel you, man.
Oh,
I feel you.
Yeah, it's a lot. And they don't talk about that at the adoption. They don't talk about the depression, the suicide rates. They don't talk about any of that.
No,
and I think that
they don't want to mess up their
the bag.
That money.
Yeah.
That money.
Yeah.
It's big money in adoption.
It still is, yeah. And it's our job to be like, hey, this is the real. This is what your adoptive child is going to go through. And if you really, really love this child, you're going to prepare yourself. You're going to study about depression, suicide linked to adoption. You're going to do what it takes, or else you're just doing it for status. And I think a lot of I don't mean to overgeneralize. I'm just talking about the problematic adoptive parents. There are a lot of problematic adoptive parents who do it for status. And
look what I did. I help all these kids out.
Oh yeah. What do you call that? The savior syndrome.
Yeah. You have to tell nobody that. I mean, one thing I can say about my adopted parents is a lot of people never knew I was adopted. You know what I'm saying? So when I finally came out of out the fog, whatever you want to call it, they were like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
I said, "You can't tell. I don't look like them, But they never treated me any different, which was good, So I was fortunate in that sense.
With mine, it took me a long time to notice something like little microaggressions and because my siblings were a little bit resentful that I was adopted, basically. But it's not like outright in your face resentment. It's kind of like behind the scenes microaggressions. Like, for example, if I'm at a family party And humans, we usually just talk in a circle. That's basically what we do. We form groups at a party, whatever. They'll basically, if I join them, they'll do things like close their circle, and so I'm out of the circle, and they'll basically like keep me out of the conversation. Just small little things like that. And it took me a long time. I started noticing it, and so I felt like had to talk extra loud just to join the conversation, and just to scream and scream, and like, you know what? You don't want to add me in your conversation? That's fine. And I started dealing with that whole validation thing. I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to start validating myself. Then I started isolating myself. And thank God. And that's when I met you, brother. I joined the group.
Yeah.
Amanda. The
Yeah, the
best thing
group
that
is
ever
strong.
happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there this Sunday. I'm gonna be there this Sunday.
Oh, me too. Me too. Yeah. And so, yeah, I totally love you guys. I think you guys
Love you too, man.
Yeah, you saved me. You really did. And I know when I say you saved me, a lot of people think, oh, that's nice. But you really saved me, because I was going through suicidal thoughts, depression. You've seen some of my Instagram posts.
Yeah. That's why I reach out to you, man.
You did.
We try to.
I want to thank you for that. Yeah, you reached out for me. You totally did.
And y'all was there for me when I was going through my thing and sharing my little situation with me, and just the fact that everybody just listened, because I can't share that with everybody.
Yeah.
They won't understand.
Just for everybody watching this, I just want to say, reach out to another adoptee. You gotta. Don't try and do this alone. Because I tried to do this alone. Yeah, and you can't do this alone. Reach out to another adoptee, because we understand. We're here for you. We're gonna hug you up, welcome you, listen to you. We're not gonna invalidate you because you feel how you feel. We're not gonna tell you to be grateful. You can be as angry as you want, and we're just gonna accept you. So look out for us.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
This Adopted Life, Amanda.
Yes.
Check out her IG. She's very informative, and we meet every Sunday for the most part, and we sometimes 3 p.m. Sometimes we talk.
Eastern time. Yep.
Eastern time. Sometimes we talk. Sometimes we listen. It's good. But anyway, I gotta wrap this up.
Okay, sir.
We're gonna definitely have you on again, Corey. This time we're gonna do another set. We're gonna Corey's very talented. Like I said, reach out to Corey Quinn. What's your handle out there on the IG?
At Corey Wins. Corey, WINZ.
Okay, I'm gonna put all this in the description of this podcast. But we're about to sign off. So I just want to let all the adoptees and foster care kids out there let you know that you're strong, you're powerful. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. Anything you want to be or accomplish in life, you can do it. Just stay strong.
Yes, sir. Peace, my brother.